Hello everyone and welcome to today's presentation on security risk management. And when we're talking of security risk management, this is the systematic process organization use to protect their valuable data and resources from potential threats, right? The concept of risk refers to the possibility that something could occur which could damage or destroy or review sensitive data or other resources. So understanding risk management is crucial for building a strong security posture, ensuring compliance with the laws and regulation, and demonstrating responsible governance and due diligence, right? So risk management involves identifying factors that could happen or expose data, evaluating these factors in light of the value of the data and the cost of possible countermeasures, and then implementing solutions that are both effective and cost efficient to reduce or mitigate risk. Risk in the context of information security is defined as the likelihood that a threat will exploit a vulnerability to cause harm to an asset. In other words, the risk is an assessment of the probability or chance that a negative event will happen. The more likely it is that a threat event will occur, the greater the risk to the organization. Mathematically, we are saying risk can be expressed as a product of threat and vulnerability, right? So, for example, if a company has a web server, which is an asset, with outdated software, this is a vulnerability, and there are non-hackers actively seeking such weaknesses, which a threat, the risk of a cyber threat is high. Then on the screen, we have elements of a risk. We have threats, we have vulnerabilities, we have exposure, we have a risk, we have safeguards, right, and assets. So threats exploit vulnerabilities, which results in exposure, which is a risk, which is mitigated by safeguards, which protect assets, right, which are endangered by threats, right. So here we need to fully grasp risk. It's important to understand the key elements involved. So an asset is anything of value within an organization that should be protected, such as computer files, the database, the hardware devices, software, intellectual property, or even business processes. A breach occurs when a security mechanism is bypassed or defeated by a threat agent, resulting in unauthorized access or damage. Then when I talk of asset evaluation, is the process of assigning a dollar value to an asset, considering both its actual cost and non-monetary factors like reputation or operational importance. Then it threats any potential occurrence that may cause undesirable outcomes for an organization or asset, ranging from hackers and natural disasters to insider threats like disgruntled employees. Then vulnerabilities are weaknesses in assets or a lack of adequate safeguards, such as unpatched software or weak password. So an attack then is an intentional attempt to exploit a vulnerability to cause harm, loss, or disclosure of assets. Then we're talking of exposure. This refers to the state of being susceptible to asset loss because of a threat exploiting a vulnerability, right? Then a safeguard, this is also known as a countermeasure, right? Actions, devices, or processes that reduce or eliminate vulnerabilities or protect against specific threats. Then under safeguards, safeguards can take many forms and are essential for reducing risk. For example, installing a software patch addresses technical vulnerabilities or make configuration changes can close security gaps. So there's hiring security guards and altering physical infrastructure, such as electrifying a perimeter fence or installing lights, are physical safeguards. Then we have administrative safeguards, which include updating security policies, modifying business processes, and providing effective training to personnel. So each safeguard is chosen based on its ability to reduce specific vulnerabilities and protect against identified threats in a cost-effective manner. Now we need to move on to the risk management process. This is a continuous cycle that includes several key stages. And the stages are given on the screen. Also, we'll add other 2 or 3 after we explain those that are on the screen. So the first stage is to identify threats and vulnerabilities. Right, is to identify threats and vulnerabilities. So this involves creating a comprehensive list of all possible threats to the organization's assets, considering both threat agents such as hackers or malicious insiders and the threat events such as natural disaster or system failures. So threats can come from anywhere, not just IT sources. So when compiling the list, it's important to consider a wide range of possibilities, including viruses, criminal activities, by authorized users, then like embezzlement, so malicious hackers, the disgruntled employees, user errors, physical damage such as fire or flooding, misuse of data, changes to security policies, government or political intrusions, the processing errors, coding mistakes, social engineering attacks. So these threats can be categorized as external, originating outside the organizations, right? Then internal, from within, which are related to the legacy system, which are outdated technology, or multi-party risks, which involve third parties. Then we move on to risk assessment. So the second stage is risk assessment. This is primarily the responsibility of upper management, who must define the scope and purpose of the assessment, right? So once the threats are identified, each must be evaluated or determine the level of risk it poses. There are 2 main methodologies for risk assessment. There is quantitative and qualitative. Quantitative assessments assigns numerical values to risk, such as the potential financial loss from a data breach. Then qualitative assessment uses descriptive categories like high, medium, or low to rate risk based on likelihood and impact. So both methods are necessary for a comprehensive risk analysis, as they help prioritize which risk need immediate attention and which can be monitored over time. Then the third stage is risk treatment, right? Where the organization develops strategies now to mitigate or reduce the impact of the identified risk. So this involves creating risk response plans that outline specific actions to minimize the likelihood of or consequence of a risk. Then a strategy can include avoiding the risk altogether, then transferring into another party, such as through insurance, implementing controls or safeguards, or accepting the risk while preparing contingency plans. So the result of risk analysis usually include a detailed evaluation of all assets, a thorough list of threats and risk, right? The rate of occurrence and the extent of loss if realized, a list of threat-specific safeguards and countermeasures, and their cost or benefit analysis of each safeguard. So management must then decide on the appropriate response for each risk. It's either you reduce or mitigate, right? It assign or transfer it, accept it, or avoid it, right? Then security controls, they are part of the risk treatment stage. They can be classified based on how they are implemented. They are preventive controls. These are designed to stop incidents before they occur, such as firewall or access controls. They are detective controls. They aim to identify incidents after they've happened, like intrusion detection systems or security audits. They are also corrective controls. They are intended to reverse the impact of any incident, such as restoring data from backups. They are deterrent controls. These ones discourage individuals from causing incidents, for example, through visible security measures or legal warnings. There are compensating controls. These are alternative measures used when primary controls are not feasible. And common controls are those implemented across multiple ICT systems. Right. So here we see that on the screen there are preventive controls, where we see system hardening, security awareness and training, security guards, then change management, access control. Then on detective, we see there is log monitoring, trend analysis, security audit, video surveillance, motion detection. On corrective, there is intrusion detection system, backup system recovery. Then on deterrent, we see that there are cable locks, there are hardware locks. On compensating controls, there are multi-factor authentication, there are smart cards, one-time passwords. Then common security control, you see that there is contingency planning, security awareness and training, incident response, personnel security, then physical security. So after implementing risk mitigation measures, it is crucial as well to continuously monitor and review the effectiveness. So this fourth stage, risk monitoring, involves tracking key risk indicators and performance metrics to ensure that risks are managed effectively. So regular monitoring allows organizations to identify new or emerging risks, evaluate the effectiveness of existing controls, and make necessary adjustments to their risk management strategies. So for instance, regular vulnerability scans and security audits can help detecting new weaknesses as systems and threats evolve. Then throughout the risk management life cycle, effective communication is essential. The fifth stage, risk communication, involves sharing information about identified risk, their potential impacts, and the actions being taken to manage them. So communication should occur both internally among stakeholders within the organization and external with relevant parties such as regulators, customers, suppliers, or shareholders. So clear and transparent communication helps build trust, ensures that all stakeholders are aware of the organization's risk management efforts and their roles in the process. Then the final stage of the risk management process is a risk review and improvement. So this involves reviewing the overall effectiveness of the risk management process and identifying areas for improvement. So regular reviews helps organizations learn from past experience, the spot trends or pattern in risk, and update their risk management strategies accordingly. So this ensures that the risk management process remains relevant, effective, and aligned with the organization's objectives as the threat landscape changes. So in conclusion, we are saying security risk management is a continuous, comprehensive process that enables organizations to identify, to assess, and address threats to their assets. So if we understand the nature of risk, recognizing the key elements involved, and following a systematic process from identifying threats to reviewing controls, organization can reduce the likelihood and impact of security incidents. So effective risk management not only protects valuable resources, but also supports business objectives, ensuring that there is compliance and fosters trust among its stakeholders. Thank you for listening to this presentation.